Hi guys, Chris here, and you're watching Here We Are Running, and in today's video we're going to look back and recap last week's half marathon time trial, as well as looking forward, and I'll let you know what is coming up on the channel in the next month or so. But first, we're out on a Wednesday lunchtime run. Okay, let's recap on last week's half marathon time trial, where I achieved an unofficial PB of 1 hour, 38 minutes and 33 seconds, which was quite a bit quicker than my previous PB. And I was delighted by not only the time, but the way that the whole run went. It really did go to plan. I would call it a dream run, you know, the sort of run that you dream that it's going to go that way, but it rarely does. But this time round, everything really did just go how I'd wanted it to go. And the strategy, it all fell into the strategy. So I set a pacing strategy, which was really around the first couple of kilometers being slower than the average pace that I needed to achieve. The average pace to match my PB would have been 4 minutes and 42 seconds per kilometer. So we started off by going slower than that for the first couple, just to ease into it. And then to run a period of the run at the average pace of 4 minutes and 42 seconds per kilometre. And at least until we got over the halfway stage or the turnabout stage. And then if I felt good, the strategy was to start speeding up, to recover the lost time at the start, and then to hopefully get ahead of that average pace and achieve a new unofficial PB. And that's the way it went. It didn't quite go completely to how I would have planned it, but it very much aligned to that strategy, because the first couple of kilometers we were actually a bit slower than I had intended, and that led to us running the first 5k in 23 minutes and 56 seconds. That was 23.5 seconds slower than the average that I needed to be at that stage. So quite a bit there to make up, probably more than I had really appreciated. And we hadn't made any of it up, in fact. We even got a little bit slower than that by the time we got to 10 kilometers. We were at 47 minutes and 25 seconds. So a full 25 seconds slower than the average pace would have put me at that point in time. Once we got to 15 kilometers, we had made up a bit of time. But it was really only from that 15th kilometre onwards that we really did start to speed up. So we got to 15 kilometres in 1 hour, 10 minutes and 43 seconds, which was 13 seconds slower than where I needed to be. But as I say, we had made up some time. And as you can see, from the 15th kilometre onwards, we had sped up a bit. We were getting quicker. It was at the 17th kilometre, when we had done that, that we were now ahead of average pace. Only by 3 seconds, but we had recovered all of the lost time in the first section of the run. We carried on at that increased pace all the way to the end. So we were making up more and more time and getting further ahead of where my previous PB had sat at. And it did feel really good as we were running that. I wasn't talking anymore. We were chatting, myself and Chris, that running guy, we were chatting as we were running the first stages of the race. But then once we got to 15th kilometre onwards, I wasn't really talking anymore. I was concentrating hard. I was putting the effort in. I could feel I was putting the effort in, but it still felt very controlled, and I felt I could run at that pace for quite some time. I got to the end, we got to that time. I felt I could have probably gone a bit quicker, or I also felt I could have probably gone a bit further, but still delighted in the way that it went. And you can also tell by my heart rate. So looking at the heart rate zone, the majority of the run was in heart rate zone 4. We did go into heart rate zone 5, but only really when that pace started increasing in that final section of the run. Again, I compared that to when I got my previous PB back in February 2018 at the Surrey half. My heart rate zone for that was nearly all in heart rate zone 5, and no wonder I felt awful by the end of it. And a real struggle to get over the line. This didn't go like that at all. This was just very controlled the whole way through. The strategy really worked, and yeah, very happy with the way it all turned out. So there you go, guys. That is a recap of how the run went last weekend. Now, let's have a look at what we got coming up over the next month or so. So, right, yeah, what's next? Well, this week, I've given myself a real good rest after last week's run. I've only done 2 runs, and you saw some clips from the first one. That was a 7k or so run, and I went out today, Saturday today. I went out today and did a 20k run at a kind of zone 3 type pace. So that's what I've done this week. I'm going to try and get into a more of a normal running routine over the next few weeks, probably back to my 5 or 6 runs a week. And the next sort of big thing that I've got coming up that you'll see on the channel is my triathlon relay. So I'm doing a triathlon relay on the 27th of September at Hever Castle. Now, it's a relay, which means that we've got 3 people taking part, and we're each doing a different event in that relay. It's an Olympic standard triathlon. And so that means that for the running, which is what I'm doing, because I'm not a very good swimmer and I haven't got a decent bike, so I'm doing the running. That's, I think, a 10.5k run. It's on a mixed terrain course. I don't think it's very hilly, but it's certainly a combination of tarmac and trails. I'm hoping the weather stays pretty dry like it's been at the moment, so I'll probably, if it does, I'll go out in road shoes for that. But yeah, looking forward to that, looking forward to doing a run, even though it's mixed terrain. I'll be going out there, I'll be running it hard, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. It'd be good to experience a different type of event. I've never been to a triathlon type event before. It's obviously going to be different. They've got COVID safe measures in place. There is quite a large number of competitors taking part, but it's all very well organised. Lots of safety features thought of. So yeah, looking forward to that and seeing how that goes, and just for the experience of doing a triathlon event. So that's in 2 weeks' time. And then a week after that, it's the London Marathon. But of course, the London Marathon this year is very different. There is an elite race taking part in a closed course. For everyone else, there is a virtual event. So there still is the 40th London Marathon taking place, but it's a virtual event this year. You could enter it even if you weren't signed up for the London Marathon. I did that, and on the 4th of October, you have the entire day to run the 26.2 miles. And if you do that, submit your time and everything on an app that they'll have, then you're going to get the medal and you're going to get the t-shirt. So I couldn't resist that. I decided to take part and do that. And I am going to be attempting to run it all in one go. So as I say, it's 26.2 miles, but you can split that up across the course of the day. I haven't done any marathon specific training since back in when I did my Manchester training earlier in the year. I obviously am of a good level of fitness at the moment from the half marathon training I've been doing, but I obviously haven't done the sort of distance that you need to be doing for a marathon. So I will be taking it very easy, but I will try to do the whole 26.2 miles in one go rather than having to split it up. So we've got that coming on the 4th of October. Now after that, I don't really have anything planned. I am hoping to take part in some more events before the end of the year. There are events now taking place in the UK. They're generally quite small events and they're not run in the way that we used to. But, you know, I would like to take part in a proper race before we get to the end of the year. So I'll be on the lookout for that. And I will let you know if I find anything, if I book anything up, and if I think it's going to be actually taking place. So that's what we've got coming up on the channel, guys. Guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. A little bit different to the normal sort of weekly training vlogs, but hopefully for next week we'll be back to more running footage. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, of course, please do hit the thumbs up button to give the video a like. And if you're new around here, well, why not consider subscribing for regular running content? But for now, guys, goodbye.